Our next speaker is going to be Michael Watt, the angelic medium. He is a fourth-generation metaphysician and spiritual seeker who has spent the last 10 years on a deep journey of conscious self-discovery. Following resigning from his corporate career as a mechanical engineer, way to go, bro. Michael began training in a wide variety of healing modalities such as mediumship and intuitive development, energy work, angel therapy, yoga, meditation, and creative exploration such as dance, writing, visual, and the performance arts. Michael's private practice as medium, spiritual catalyst, and teacher is an infusion of his life's wisdom and experiences. As a highly sensitive person and one that has had themes of loneliness and depression rooted from not understanding and utilizing his gifting, one of Michael's passions is to help his clients connect to their true self, to unlock their spiritual gifts, calling, and follow their true passions and bliss. Michael offers private sessions as an angelic medium and spiritual catalyst, various ongoing classes and workshops, as well as facilitates an annual mediumship mentorship certification program to help you unlock and utilize your own intuitive giftings to help other people. Stay tuned for his upcoming online video series and show, Ask the Angelic Medium, starting soon.
Thank you all. It's so wonderful to be here today. Can you hear me okay, or without the microphone? Okay, because I like to move around. I'm a mover. And I wanted to thank Teresa and Mo for this amazing venue that we've had today, and a place where we can all connect and share with one another as we're all growing. We're all expanding right now. We're all opening new doorways and pathways in our lives, and it's a really exciting time, but it can also be a really fearful and traumatic at times feeling time. And as I love the ongoing continuation of how these gatherings unfold, it was really awesome. The threads from Charlene's talk tie straight into where I feel guided to start today. And particularly, I want to tell you all about my story of working with the angels, and particularly how I've cultivated a partnership and what that's looked like for me, and how you all can do the same, and maybe some of the keys that have worked for me, you may find some that you want to play with. So today we're going to play around with creating partnership with the angelic and spiritual realms. And to me, that's just a mirror for creating a partnership with our own self, which really, to me, that's what this is all about. And really what the angelic realm and the higher realms wish to help us with is to learn to cultivate that partnership with ourself, to where our true personal power comes from within. So I want to take you all back a little bit. As the introduction said, this last 10 years has been a very transformational time for me, and I know a lot of you. I guess it was about eight-ish years ago, I embarked on leaving the corporate world, and Spirit guided me to, many of you all have heard or used Doreen Virtue's card decks, the angel therapy program. Literally, it was one of these things. I walked into my sister's house one day and I heard Doreen Virtue talking on a radio show. And I'm like, whatever that is, I have to do that. And I knew immediately there was something there that I had to explore. And so off I went. You know, I signed up immediately, got all her books, and started reading and exploring and learning how to connect with the angels myself and what that looked like, what that meant, because I had had experiences from a child of hearing voices and receiving guidance and knowing things, but didn't really have a, specifics of what that looked like to me, or that it was something to trust, because growing up as a sensitive child, and we've got a lot of sensitives in here, and I truly believe that actually all of us are sensitive. As we go deeper within ourselves, we unlock that. I had to really take a look within and understand what was going on within me. And the angel therapy was like a confirmation. It was like all these switches and bells and whistles went off when I went there. And learning that to invoke help, all you do is ask, right? We've heard that a lot today. Just have to ask for assistance, and that's what I started doing. I started asking for assistance in every possible way that I could in my life. No holds barred. I just let it roll. I need help with this. I need help with that. And just as I'm one that likes to experiment and try, through experimentation and learn, I learn the best that way of what this was all about. And I had instantaneous results. The angels started appearing to me in a variety of different ways. And it happened so quickly that I realized, okay, I'm going to go ahead, after going through the angelic therapy program, that I'm going to start just put myself out there and start doing readings. Just let this thing unfold. And so I did. And I'll never forget the first time I did that. I was scared to death. But, part of this unfolding is learning to face our fears and move through them, which now all of us are having to do that in big ways, in ways that we hadn't experienced probably before. So anyway, I was on this journey, was doing readings as a full-time practice, and that engineer in me that thought and that my ego started getting a little bit out of hand, thinking that I knew a lot, like all these tools are working and all this stuff's working. It's so amazing. They come and they help in every way. They help, clear situations and are always there. They're all around me. They're all around in my readings and clients and all of that. And I show up into the session one day, and all of a sudden I get to the healing center, and there was a conversation going on. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with this because there's just kind of a simple lesson to it all. But I show up, and all of a sudden someone starts talking about a topic that elicits a tremendous amount of guilt. And me as a sensitive person and not feeling comfortable with who I was on a very deep level, since I was a child, I had not really worked at a lot of foundational parts. I had jumped, just leaped, and doing a lot of yoga and meditation and just raising my vibration, but there were some foundational parts within my being that were not solid. And so in this one moment, all of the work that I thought that I had done just vanished. And it was the start of the biggest lesson in partnering with Spirit. And I'm still learning, and this whole journey is about that. But it taught me where my ego was and where Spirit was. And that in any moment, anything could just totally shift. And it did. And I was so in that moment, the way that I describe it was the protection that I had built up from calling on these loving helpers and all of that was an outside protection. It wasn't from within. And yes, they were there to help me, because at that time in my life, I was and had a lot of codependency within myself. I needed the angels for everything. I needed them for everything to be okay. As a healer, I needed them to be okay in my life. I needed them for everything. But I had never had that feeling before, so guess what? When I started on my path, I took it all in, and it was the most amazing thing. And I've learned and continue to learn the most amazing things from that. So I had to take a back seat, because what I heard, they told me, the moment that shift happened, they said, we're going to be absent for a while. We're there, but we're going to be absent. I did sessions for like another week or two, and they would always be there when I was in service. But for me, it shifted in that moment. I was now to focus on building a relationship with me and learn how, which this is one key for all of you here today. Every single person in here is an angel. Everyone. Every single one of you are angels. And this is the lesson that they keep teaching me. And I keep bumping into this lesson, that every one of us is an angel. And yes, they want to help us in every way, but there's going to be a time, and the time is now, where everyone, it's time for us to acknowledge our greatness, that we are angels here embodied, that we may not have the same purpose that the etherical angel realms have, which are here to service, in particular, us in bodies and show us and guide us and provide pathways and help open doors and all of these things, which they're doing. Yes, but guess what? We have to do it. They're not going to do it for us, as we've heard several times today. Each and every one of us have to take a step in faith. Yes, they can give us and their blankets of love and help us feel nurtured when we need it, but we still have to jump and trust that, yes, they're going to catch us too, and roll us off into where we need to be and give us those transitional type of energies when we need them. And what was such a perfect transition for what was being talked about is that's the transition that's happening. Our guides all on a big level are stepping back. It's time for us. Yes, they're there. Yes, they're there to help us. Yes, they're always going to be there to help us. But it's time for us to take our sword, our Archangel Michael's sword, ourselves. Over the last 2 years, he keeps giving me the sword. I said, what for? What do I need the sword for? You got it. What? And he said, it's time for you to take your own sword. You can do this. You don't need me. I'm here to help you in so many ways, but it's time for you to take your sword. So today I ask each and every one of you, are you willing to take your own sword into the life? And if not, that's okay. That's okay if you're not. But that means that feeling, it's time to start, because the things that are going to be unfolding for us and continue are going to take us to those feelings of discomfort. It's going to continue. It's just started. Just started. We're going to keep rolling down this path of every one of us has our own wings. It's time to just let them. What about inviting an intention? Would you be willing to let your own wings out? Just a willingness. You might not know what it looks like, but just a willingness to let your own wings out. Well, we're inviting it in today. It's an invitation to allowing each and every one of you here to blossom into whatever the next phase is for you. Because wherever you are is absolutely perfect. It's where you need to be for the next step. But I wanted to make it very clear, and the angels they've been surging through me of making and sharing this story that now is the time to start embracing we're just a part of the oneness as they are. We're just as connected to source energy as they are. So there's a possibility to just have that direct link. So it's time to start opening our minds, opening our hearts, opening our bodies to the possibility that we are just an expression of source energy right here, right now. That our health, that our well-being, that everything that goes on in our life is all about our perspective. And guess what? The angels are here to help us at every second and every step to help us see what perspectives maybe could be changed. And in just the right time, in just the right ways, that those perspectives can change, just the right healers and people and scenarios to guide us to help those situations unfold. So this partnership that I'm talking about, as someone who is in the practice of being a channel for the angelic realm and sharing messages and that sort of thing, I used to think that I always had to ask, what do I need here? Constantly asking questions through the process. And that's great and all, and I think that each and every one of you has to learn and trust where you are at on your journey and to ask and do those things. But as you go along on your journey, it's like, let's say you're in a human partnership with someone else. When you first meet that person, you have to get to know them, right? There's a lot of, physical interactions, and this is how I do it, this is how I do it. And then over time, you build this trust and this relationship that turns into something that's more of a flow. You don't constantly have to be asking or figuring out how that person does something, because you're in a flow, you're in a partnership. Well, that's no difference with the angelic realm or the spiritual realms. The more that you go forward, the more you build this natural, easy partnership. And it's something that's it's natural. You don't have to force it. I was the king of forcing. I wanted things to happen quick. Just jump. I would jump through hoops and energetically, as in meditation, go through and try to get in contact with all these different places and experiences. And I've since learned that they come to me. And I invite each one of you as well to acknowledge that what I'm saying here also mirrors to our physical lives, when we just learn to partner with our own self, which is, again, the most important thing the angels wanted me to talk about today. Because when we learn to partner with our own self, what do the airline attendants say when you get on the plane? Put the gas mask on yourself first. It's no different. When we really learn to partner with ourselves first, life becomes amazing. And this journey for me has been the most challenging thing, because I was the first one. I wanted to help everybody else but me. It was so easy, but I suffered. I had to leave my practice for a couple years to really understand how much I was giving out. And yes, I thought it was based on love, but when I really looked at it, there were so many underlying things of needing approval, needing acceptance, needing all these different things. And I've had to look back in my life and just bless every single one of those things, because they have been a gift to me. They've been a gift. I wouldn't be here today without going through and continuing. It's not like they're over. We're human. We're humans. Stuff doesn't just fall off the map, usually. It cycles. We go through cycles in our lives. So you may go a cycle, and I bet, is there anybody in here who's not experienced this, where you have these thoughts, repetitive thoughts and emotions that come up, they'll go away, and then they'll come back maybe months, a year later, and you're like, I thought I got rid of that. Is there any? That's the nature of, we're in the human space. Things unfold and move back around, and I'm here to just help you remember to be gentle with yourselves and remember that each one of those things is a gift. We are healing the world by going through this. That's the only way to do it. We're in a human body. Each and every one of you is a part of this earthly transformational process. You don't do it from being out there. You do it from being in here. You do it from looking at your own stuff, looking through your own patterns, facing them, getting help when you need to. Angels, I need some help with this. Can you help me? Help me, guide me how to get to the next step, how to see even more clearly what this pattern is that is reoccurring in my life. Why do I keep having the same emotion? And that's where just allowing your partnership to unfold and develop in time. I'm a love of dance. And to me, it's like a gentle partnership. Angels, I need some help right now. Just reach out. They immediately got you. And then just go with it in your life to the next. And it becomes just a natural thing. Engineer here? Guess what? Sometimes I can be extremely analytical about things. I can think them to death. But it's a constantly reminder for me too. That's why I love dance. That's why I love movement, because it's a reminder of being in the body instead of being out of the body, being in the mental realms. We need both. They're both part of this experience. And so this whole thing with the angels, I'm so grateful for everything that they have bestowed and continue to show me about this life, because it's not about leaving our bodies now. It's about being here now. I wanted to leave my body for years, and I'm just now getting to the place where this body is becoming the most amazing instrument. It's an instrument for peace. It's an instrument for music. It's an instrument to share with each and every one of you. It's an instrument. And the more I go in, the more sensitive it gets, and the more beautiful it gets. And I believe that to my heart, the chorus part of my heart with each and every one of you. This journey that we're on, if you just take a minute every day to bless it, whatever happens. I have clients sometimes come and they want to know what's happening in the future. And the angels, that's okay, but the angels usually come to me. In the past, I would want to go, I would feel this just bubbling up like pressure to have to give them answers. And the angel said, you don't need to give them answers. They need to give them answers. It's time for them to give them answers. Have them ask direct. You are interfering with their own abilities and their own power at this point in their life. You are an instrument to share your experiences, and we will give you the information that's needed at the time. And huge pressure release, and this work becomes 1,000 times more fun. And I realized on so many ways of my life that was such a thread, that taking on the burden. How many in here feel, they need to do a lot for everybody? It's our time to be in our joy. It's our time to shine. It's our time to love our own selves. And part of this partnership, one of the best things you can do is try new things. I have people come to me and ask, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I understand. I used to think that too. What the hell am I supposed to be doing right now? I don't like this job. I don't like where I'm at. What am I supposed to be doing? And would sit on it because it was getting frustrating. But what was always going on in the same time, because every one of you is connected to your inner being. Every one of you is connected to your angels. And on some level, just the intention of wanting to know what that is your prayer putting out there. If you're asking, it's being answered. So just listen and follow the cycles that are going on. I guarantee everyone in here at some point in your life, it still happens to me on all the new things that I'm doing. I've got to hear it a couple times, it's okay. I'm like, that's all right. It takes me a little while to get comfortable with the idea of doing something new. Maybe it's not where my mind wanted to do it. And I just have to kind of get in that rhythm. But what I was getting at is, everyone in here, I would like to challenge you. And this is a challenge from the universe. Your angels that are helping us to grow is to try by the end of this year, to try something new that you have never done before. And in a creative potential. And I get chill bumps all over. So it could be art. It could be dance. It could be trying a sport that you always wanted to try. It could be anything in your wildest dreams, and I bet every single person in here has had something that's been repeating in your mind to try. It could be playing an instrument. There's a couple of you in here that have been wanting to play an instrument. And it's time to go do that, because that is going to reconnect you to your own higher self. That's going to get you in your heart. We don't get in our heart by thinking about this stuff in the human realm. We get in our heart by doing it and allowing ourselves just to flow right into it. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy route, because usually it's not sometimes when we're trying something new and getting out of our comfort zone. But this is the time to try something new in your life. And some of you may already be doing that. And over the next, this energy right now, which is why I asked the question, I'm going to go into it a little bit more. This energy is probing that to happen. It's probing. It's like touching into our hearts. Remember, try, do this. These are that inner child's wanting to play. What gets you excited? Because what gets you excited is your connection. When you're not connected, when you're feeling fear, when you're feeling these kind of things, it's telling you something's off track. Something's off track. I'm not in alignment here. So just acknowledge that. This is a time to face, look at. If you need help, the angels are here to help. Say, angels, I need some help facing this. It really hurts inside. And again, why are things hurting? Because we are coming into this amazing new time where we are bringing together the astral realms and the physical all together. You can experience them all together. It's the most amazing thing ever. Things become more colorful, things become more joyful, everything is emphasized in ways that 10, 20 years ago, it just wasn't that way. That's part of the multi-dimensional experience that we're having, this 3, 4, 5, all these different aspects are coming together in a way that we can experience them in our body, bring them in, create. You see a lot of this new, very mystical, metaphysical art. There's a lot of it, more of it coming out where people are channeling and bringing through these energies in different forms. They're dancing it, they're painting it, they're creating engineering feats with it for this new world that each and every one of us is creating. And we're doing it, and we're challenged to do it by just going inside. And it doesn't mean you have to put the pressure that gets generated is all about our own selves and our old patterns. And it's safe. It's safe to really be honest with ourselves. It's not that we're bad. I used to think I was horrible because I just couldn't feel good enough about doing things. But I know it's not anymore. This integration that's happened through me, which I want to touch on a little bit more as part of this partnership discussion. After having that experience where I had to leave my practice and back out of it, I was experiencing layers of emotion that I had never even thought were even the closest bit okay. Anger from childhood that was just off the charts, and I would do everything to want to hold it back. It's like, where is this stuff coming from? This is bad. And it took me time. I started writing. I was guided to write, and I went to actually a writing program that Spirit just was like, go here. I kept seeing that reoccurring thing. And the writing, it happened over a period of a month, and I ended up writing what's kind of like a book. I think it's going to eventually get repurposed, but it was just a regurgitation of all of the experiences, emotions that needed a way out. They needed to be heard. Michael, the Spirit, needed to be heard. He needed to be loved. And there was no one that could do that for me but me. And it took me a while to understand that, because going through the process, I did not understand that. I was like, why do I have to go through all of these emotions? What is this? They're bad. I kept, really pushing against the emotional side of this experience because I was kind of more sheltered about that kind of stuff. And so over time, this was probably a 2-year really solid window where I had to just back out and deal with these huge waves that I'm so grateful for. And on the heels of that, I was guided to art, to dance, to all of these things. And guess what? The most freeing stuff I've ever done, the most grounding work I've ever done, the most fun and inner child, passionate, connecting play that I've ever done. But it was so scary in the process. And sometimes fear is just there to remind us that there's something great right around the corner. And that's all it is. That's all it is. So in talking to your angels, how about asking them, how can I look at the fears within myself and feel safe enough to move forward anyway? How can I do that? How can you help me? Please help show me how to look at these challenging situations and see them from a new light. A totally new light, because that's where we're at right now. We've got to see from a different spin on things. And that's the challenge that's kind of happening right now. We're all kind of different ways hanging on to the old and trying to dance with it when the universe is literally taking it away. We just have to open our hearts, open our hands, open our body, and just say, and then move forward. Just move forward. With as challenging as it might seem, it's really it's the only way. Trusting in your partnership that you're creating as you do this, that the angels have your back. Connecting with them every day. However, whatever works for you, because it doesn't matter. That's a part of this creative journey. You get to create your own partnership with your spiritual team, your guides, and all of that stuff. But it's definitely going to be different than it was 5 years ago. Because they're supporting to ushering us into this new light. They're not there to let us cling anymore. Because there's a lot of us that have needed love and affection. And yes, if you need that at the time, you will get it. And they will support you in that. But when it is time, they will support you in that as well, because it's time for your soul to grow. And that's what happened to me. When it was time for me to let go of the codependency, they said, Michael, we've got your back, but you can do this. The people are going to come into your life that can help you. And as a matter of fact, by letting them into your life, your heart's going to get vulnerable and you're going to be able to open up. Your heart's going to open. You've been scared to death in this life. As a highly sensitive person, that's okay. It's okay. But we're here. We're always going to be here. So know that some of that energy is what's going on with your change out of your guide team. A lot of that's happening right now. New guides that are ready to uphold your soul's plan and the bigger plan that's going on right now to usher us into our next level of greatness. And that's what we have to do. It's time. We're all here to support one another. Every one of us is here. That's what we're here for. We're human angels, or spirits. We're doing the same work they're doing, just we're doing it through our bodies. And the angels told me one time, and I read this in a book, and it was just really fascinating to me at the time because I'd never heard it. And that book disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. But they said, most all of us have actually been angels and archangels. Everything's in cycles. So there's cycles that we don't even understand. So a lot of times there's these universal cycles. Here we're on Earth cycles, and looking at it from a whole different perspective, some of us may choose to be an archangel in a life somewhere in some other cosmic cycle. We're all on the same level. They're not any better than we are. They're just doing a different role. And they're there for a purpose. We can ask them for a purpose. And it's just an amazing thing. I have some other threads from earlier does anybody have any questions from what I've talked about today? Where are we at with time?
24 minutes.
Okay.
I'm on track today. I'm good.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions right now about what I've talked about?
I know there's something I want to ask, but I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it.
Well, keep that thought. We're going to move in. We're going to shift because one thing we haven't talked about directly yet, and they're getting me excited to talk about signs and symbols, right? So one of the amazing things that they help us with in our daily life is giving us the signs and the symbols to move forward, things that our human mind can recognize and grab onto and go, yes, yes. So numbers, that came up earlier. I felt like there were some other questions about that. Numbers are one of my favorite things. I love numbers.
We couldn't tell.
Oh, cool. So we're going to go through numbers like 1 through 9. We're going to go through the thing, and because I see them all the time, that's one of the big things that really got me rolling and noticing the synchronicities. Oh wait, somebody's trying to get my attention. Something's going on. So I want to play with 1111 because that's a powerful number. Powerful. And if anyone has another experience with it, please share, because I truly believe that there are some kind of specifics with the numbers, but I also think we all, everything's kind of for us in specific too. So there's kind of both going on. But ones, I'm going to stick, numerology is a big subject matter. So we're going to stick in the angelic focused meeting because that's what we're on. There's more human archetypal type meanings with the numerology, which I love those too, and they work great together, but we're talking about signs and symbols. So ones, that is the master manifestor number. When you see a repetitive ones, it is oftentimes just really simple, and I think Charlene or somebody had said it earlier. It reminds me the law of attraction in action. I need to be paying attention to what's going on in my life, or the repetitive things. And it also is symbolic that the energy's speeding up. Manifestation's happening faster, right, at this cycle when you're seeing these. So pay attention. Really important to pay attention when you're in those cycles to, what's going on. And this is really important. Please don't beat yourself up if you're thinking negative stuff. That's not how it works. Don't try to stop your thoughts. It doesn't work that way. Let them flow. Look at your thoughts and bless them. This might be a different way of thinking, but it's something the angels have been really working with me on lately. Don't try to stop a thought train. Let it flow and let it just, be unattached with it. There's a reason why you're thinking what you're thinking. We have a body worker over here because I know what I was about to say is there's something going on in your body most of the time. And while your head's, going in circles about something, there's a feeling going on. So with the number ones, it's perfect to ask, what's going on right now? What's going on with me? Just pause. It's to me, I think of the 1111 when I see it. Things are going fast. I need to take a chill break. I need to pause out, chill out, reconnect with me, reconnect with my cycles, what's going on, what are the repetitive things. Anybody have any questions about ones? Twos. 2 is the magical faith number. If you see repetitive 2s, it's a reminder from the angels and spirit to trust the process that's unfolding in your life. Have faith. Just, it's everything's happening okay. It can be a masculine. I'm going to put out both energies for numbers because they can have a masculine and a feminine. It could be to remind yourself to have faith, or it could be just being receptive to faith. Could be either one of those things, kind of what's going on in your own life at the time. 3s. There's a couple of things with 3s. Oftentimes 3s are associated with the Ascended Master realm. So if you're particularly like a Christian, you may be a reminder for you about, Jesus is around, or his energy, that energy is working with you right now, love, that kind of thing. Could be if you're Buddhist, Kuan Yin, or, some Buddha, those types of energies are working with you right now, or would like for you to just remember to be open to receive what they have for you. 3 is also really important right now. How many of you see 333 in the clocks? I bet every single person that sees 333 in the clock, it's time, or you've had nudges to do something creative. Painting, dancing, singing, da-da-da-da-da-da, you can go on and on. Guaranteed, if you have 3s, Spirit is nudging you to do something different right now. Get in your creative spirit and let it flow. Never fails for me when people see that. And they usually know, but they just don't want to do it, or their mind hasn't been ready to, surrender. So look at these things. It's like a fun new journey. You're just going to try it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to do it forever. You may do it one time and get what you need out of it. It's just a matter of just, moving in this body into trying something new. That's the angels have to tell me that on a regular basis. Just do it. Just try it. You don't have to do it forever. Just you'll get what you need and then move on. It's like dance. I did the burlesque performances. I was like, are you serious? You want me to do this? And there, part of me inside, my heart was like, yes, but my mind was like, are you serious? And everything, people showed up. I walked up to a friend that I had known, but I hadn't seen her forever. And I was like, just came out of my mouth, do you know where to do this? And she goes, oh yeah, you do it right here. So it's like everything lined up when that happened. So back to the 4s now. 4 is, yes, it's an angel number, but it's also spiritual support. Think of it as the strength and support number. So the angels are supporting you, or reminding you to reach out for support if you need it, masculine and feminine. Anyone see 5s? 5s? 5 is is change. It's all about change and transformation. You're in a cycle of massive going from one place to another, and you're trying to be, the energy's reminding you right now to just let go, play. It's also a reminder to be playful, because if you get serious with change, you get stuck in the tornado instead of being in the center, the peace and calm place. So you're in a change. You're going from A to B. Don't get too much in your head about it. Just go with it. Is 5s. Anyone questions about 5? 6. This one's always an interesting one for me, because I think about the number 6 as the heart. It's the heart number, and it's also on a more higher vibrational level. And so we're talking about that today. I think of 6 as reminding us about the physical realm. So if you see 6s, it could be reminding you to take care and nurture yourself. To me, for me, 6 a lot of time means remember to nurture yourself, take care of your own self. It also is a material supply number. So if you're worrying about money and you start seeing 6s, it's a reminder about abundance and supply, getting in that flow, trusting that there is a supply for you. But you got to get your heart kind of in line with it. So it's a supply and material abundance kind of number. It's different than an 8. I think of 8, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's very, being in our heart space, following our heart. Sometimes if you see a 6 in repetitions, you're not following your heart. And if you don't follow your heart, abundance isn't going to be there. Not the level that you might want. So 6, you keep seeing them over and over again. Again, check in with your heart. What is my heart wanting me to do that I'm not right now? And again, just take a step. Maybe it's just making a phone call or looking on the internet at whatever you're doing. One step every day. I mean, that's huge. That's moving through the energy just by, inquiring. Minds want to know. So we're at 7. 7 is the spiritual journey number. 7 means you're on the right track. Keep going. Keep moving forward. And again, I think that was said earlier, the more of the numbers you see repetitive in a row and however you see them I think it's just like adds to the, emphasis of the message that's being placed. Then we get to number 8s, and 8s to me, yes, it's around abundance in all ways, reminding us that abundance is there for us to be had, but it's also a reminder of building blocks. I think of an 8 as a building block number because I'm a life path 8. So I have these grand visions, but they're useless without taking small steps. So I think of abundance. Yes, we have this infinite. It's a reminder for infinite abundance on the one end, but it's also about remembering to take bite-sized steps. So there's a lot of connection to me with 6 and 8, but there's also very different as well. Then we go to 9. 9s, as was said, I think earlier, if you start seeing repetitive 9s, it means it's really time to jump on your purpose. Like you've definitely, if you're seeing 9s, your heart really knows. I mean, it's on the surface of what to be doing. You just need to just step into it. Or it could also be you're right at that place of running into your passion. Like something sparks are going to you're right in that mode of massive awareness is about to either happen or what it is. It could be either way. Again, these take masculine and feminine, so it's good to look at them from both sides. And just check in with your heart. If you start seeing this, ask, angels, what is this number about? And that topic will either come up, you'll start hearing repetitive, or remember the angels talk to you through other people too. So you could be out in your day, you could be at the cash register checking out somewhere, and the person will go, just be a direct channel for the angels for you in that moment. And I bet that's happened to everybody here. Yeah, so how blessed we are. There's all these avenues, like everywhere we go is an opportunity to get a sign, a symbol, with what our spirit, and helping us, because sometimes when we're in our heads, we don't see very clearly at times. We're not in the present moment. So finding a nice balance between, analyzing things and taking, calculated steps as needed in this human world, because we do have a structure here, and then making sure you're acting from the heart space. I couldn't be more clear, and the angels this last year have helped me. I'm so grateful for stepping into trusting that they're working through me regardless of me thinking about it or not, because I used to I felt like I needed to control it and constantly be dialoguing back and forth, but that's been this huge weight lifted of just recognizing that we're all just surrender, and be that channel that you are. Every one of you is a channel of light. You are light. There's just the way it is. If you need help, reach out to it, physical and our amazing angels. Do you have any questions right now? And how much time do we have?
10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Okay, so
this might be a little selfish, but I'm going to ask a question
Mm-hmm.
pertinent to me because of the numbers thing. It's something I've been getting kicked. Because Spirit always knows it takes a bit for me. I'm a little slow. Anyway, since I was a child, from the time I knew how to count, I always would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It was like this repeating pattern in my head constantly. It finally stopped about my 20s, about when I went into, dived into that business world and stuff. And now recently, several things have happened. The 12s are coming back, okay? The 12s are coming back. And I actually had someone who was doing a Reiki treatment on me said, okay, don't think I'm weird, but I got 12 times 12. And I went, no, really?
Great question.
So, can you help me with that?
Absolutely, and I'm going to tell you a little story because I had an angel, a human angel in a human body that her spirit was really connected, and she came to me, called me up one day and said, Michael, I just need to tell you this. Spirit angels are telling me I have got to tell you about 12 and 12. And she goes, there's more. If you look in, they were telling me that you really need to read the Bible about this because there's a thing in Revelations. It's 14:4, 144, and it's all about there's 144,000 of us coming in to do our work. And it's the 12 is Christ consciousness number. It's the essence of pure love and moving forward in that. So there's a lot of... So that was a huge one for me too. Plus I have a piece from when I first found out my birth time. I just knew there was something that I needed to probe about that. It was 144 when I was born, and I knew my spirit would do that as a reminder. And it was that why she was guided to tell me, because it was immediately I'm just like, oh, that's why. It was a way for me to remember my purpose that was, put in here.
So you think that's part of what's going on?
Absolutely.
Okay. Wow.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised too if it's not, I'm kidding, they're urging you to make some changes right now, like moving even deeper into it, like really trusting.
Wow. Okay.
Because that's kind of where I was at too. I was like,
No, ever, never.
But since you did that, let's talk about one other one. If anyone sees 13, 13 is really 13. That's a double fold for me. It's a reminder of things happen in cycles. Follow the cycles, follow the rhythms. Remember, there's 13 moon cycles. It's almost always, for me, it means that, and it's also that your foundation. So if you add the 1 and the 3 together, you get 4. It's almost always the rhythms connect, the energies connect with, by following the cycles is how you're going to build your foundation. Like you're going through this rhythm. And so, yeah. And it could mean whatever for you, because you could be immediately drawn that I need to be following the moon cycles with that number. Like I really need to pay more attention to that because it has a very strong meaning for me. So, but trust kind of, where you're, that. Sure. 11, again, it's kind of an emphasis. I think of 11 as an extension of the 11, what we were talking about, ones. But one thing when you get into multiple digits, if you're ever drawn, is there anybody that's interested in numerology in here? I've got some. I've just really, this last couple of years, being an engineer in numbers, I just love it. It just comes natural on some level. But in numerology, a lot of times to get to the core energy, you add the numbers together in different areas. So if you're seeing double digits, like you see 11, and then 11, and then 11, add them together. There's probably something about faith in there for you too, a nugget of faith. So add, the reason why I say that, because if you got 1, 1, 1, and then 11, and then, it's more about the 1, 1, 1s. But if you're seeing the same number of digits over and over again, and is there anybody that sees sequences that are not just the same number?
Like 1, 1, 1, and 3, 3, 3.
Well, those would be the same number, like 133 or 135. Take those meanings that you got for each one and put it together. There's a, and you may, if you see 135 over and over again, there's a meaning for you. That happens to me a lot, where I'll see not just straight numbers, but.
So you add those digits for the 1 plus 3 plus 5.
Well, if you're guided, what I mean is, so we went through the meanings of the numbers. So let's say, for example. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay.
Number 5.
So let's say if you see 155, which in the past has been a number for me, it would mean stay positive. You're about to go through changes right now. Keep check. Don't let it pull you down. If you see 2, it's time for me to keep the faith. The faith and trust in the process. I'm about ready to go through changes. If you see 3, it could mean a couple different things. It may mean your creative process, or the ascended master realm is about to usher you into, help you, move into a state of change. Could be 525. If the 2's in the middle, the location, you can just put emphasis. The 2, really, the core of this message is about faith, and there's change all around it. Versus, the emphasis, if it's 255, okay, I need to be mindful of faith, but the change is going to be, it's really coming around the corner. So, the placement and all that stuff, I don't think about it too much. It just kind of. However it works for you, which is part of listening to your own intuition, is how it is. That's your message. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so I was reading on that about these numbers that you add them together and you divide by 2. I think it was dividing by 2. And whatever that number was, like you take your birthday, the month, the day, and the year. You add those numbers together, divide that by 2. And then you divide by 2 again. You have to come out with one number, a 1-digit number, and that's the number you are. I came out with a 6, and I said, okay.
I'm not familiar with that one. Traditional.
I actually read that online, and I can't remember the name of the article that I was reading. It's the first time I had read it.
You have not? Yeah. You know who has some really great books for anybody that's interested is Glennis McCant. Like her books, they're just like, they get me not thinking about it too much. She's just like boom, 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 boom. She's real, simple.
Very easy to access, especially if you're not good at math. Just saying.
McCants, is it? McCants? Glennis McCant. Okay, we're going to do a quick, I'm really, just Archangel Raphael is really working with you right now. He just wanted me to remind you, or as a confirmation, to just really trust moving forward on your healing work, because it's very powerful, and the lessons that you have learned are immensely helpful for other people. Like, that brings tears in my eyesies. It is Bill. You have a very strong connection with Archangel Michael. I feel like you've been talking to him or asking or calling on him lately. He just wants you to know that, give you that confirmation today that he is around you, he is listening, he is hearing you. I think there's one more. There's a Uriel connection with the both of you. Archangel Uriel's been around, and his message for you is really trust your ideas that have been coming. And I feel like particularly to you, because you have, in writing, have you been thinking about writing lately, or?
I've been journaling.
Okay, I was going to say that's probably what it is. That is, keep going with that. There's going to be some things that are going to unlock and get clearer for you going through that process. And Uriel is supporting you with that. he is oftentimes associated with as the angel that helps you, like I see him hold a lamp, you know, from the darkness and into the light, like really shines light on an area.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think we're probably, are we at the end? I guess it is. All right.
That was wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all for the opportunity today.